This is The Spot, a BYU-Idaho radio production where we talk about what you're talking about at BYU-Idaho. Today's hosts are me, Celeste Simmons,
Noah Timpson,
Jesse Pruitt,
and special guest,
Mikayla Burnett.
The views and opinions of this podcast are not that of BYU-Idaho Radio or the university and are solely the opinions of the hosts. All right, thanks everyone for being on the podcast today. I'm excited to talk about what we're talking about today, which is media, specifically like movies and music. I feel like it's just a really fun topic to talk about, especially with people our age, because we're kind of in the know with what's like up and coming, and we all have different tastes and everything. So it'll be fun to hear what you guys are watching and listening to. And so what are you guys watching and listening to right now? What's like your thing? Is there like a show that you've been constantly watching or any artists that you've just been like listening to all their albums or anything?
I've been watching Good Luck Charlie, honestly.
Okay.
Like it's like the best little show for like little kids, but also it's like so good to turn on into the background.
I love that. I was not expecting Good Luck Charlie. That's awesome. Good Luck Charlie is a really good show.
Well, let's see, for me, my wife and I, I've been trying to catch up on like classic TV shows that I used to watch as a kid. And I guess the one we're currently watching is Batman the animated series from the 90s. So yeah, it's pretty fun.
That's fun.
Yeah, and I would just say just keeping up with sports, mostly the NFL and college sports, college football. So been a little disappointed with the Vikings lately. So they haven't won a game yet this season.
So where are the Vikings? What team is that?
They're the Minnesota Vikings, so
Okay.
the NFL football team.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So speaking of the NFL, I feel like we just have to talk about this. Taylor Swift dating Travis Kelce. Is that his name?
Yeah, that's his name.
Okay. I don't know if the boys are interested at all
I haven't
or have
really
heard
followed
anything.
much on that one. Yeah.
But yeah, so Taylor Swift was spotted at his game, sitting in like the booth with his mom and everything, and she was cheering him on. And he is apparently a famous football player. I didn't know he existed. He's on the Kansas Chiefs.
Yeah.
Is that Kansas City Chiefs? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a podcast that he does. And I guess in his most recent podcast, it got like over 1 million streams is what I heard, when he usually gets like 100,000. So he's just like blowing up even more than I guess he was before. But on his podcast, apparently he was saying like, yeah, like it was really cool for her to come out. Like she's a great girl, but he's not going to comment anymore on their relationship. So that's just kind of something new in the media. I don't know if you guys have any opinions about that.
I think it's just risky when you're putting two, famous people together, but I guess that's how celebrities are, right? They're all famous and they all have the different risks, but some people have some conspiracy theories on whether or not it's to help the Eagles, win the Super Bowl this year. I don't know if I believe in any of it, but Travis Kelce is pretty famous. I mean, he did win a Super Bowl. He's won Super Bowls, so he's out there. But yeah, I think the jokes are that Travis Kelce's making Taylor Swift famous, but I think we all know that's probably not the case. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that rides out. Could it ride out really well, or could end up really horrible? So
Yeah, it might
not.
just be a publicity stunt. Who knows?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. When it comes to celebrities, it's like, it's a bunch of drama anyways, half the time. And half the time NFL's political, at least as in recent years. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not really like a big fan of Taylor Swift.
No.
No, I'm more of Travis Kelce.
Okay. So did you know who Travis Kelce was before?
Yeah, way before.
Really? I had no idea he existed.
So when the Super Bowl came like last season, I went to my cousin's house and we were watching it, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go for the Chiefs. And my cousin literally looked at the roster and was like, I'm going to count how many cute boys there are. And then after that, she's like, okay, there's more cute boys on the Chiefs, so I'm going to vote for the Chiefs. I was like, girl, that's not how it works. But that's how like number one was Travis Kelce for her.
Really?
And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw pictures of them together, because I was like, I don't think he's that cute. And I told my roommates that, and then they showed me a TikTok, like a video of him, and I was like, okay, I can see the hype a little bit. And so, okay, going away from the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce stuff, because I just feel like that's flooding everyone's For You pages right now. What are some things that you guys used to watch as kids? We talked about you're watching Good Luck Charlie, you're watching the Batman cartoon from the 90s. What are some other shows that you guys grew up with?
I would say like Last Airbender.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Last Airbender was one of my cartoons, but then with my mom, we'd watch the show Lost. Yeah, I have a story about that one. That one's crazy.
Yeah. Is
Yeah.
it a story worth telling?
I mean, I was like 5, but we would watch Lost all the time. So I took my mom's car key and I keyed the word Lost in her car.
You're kidding.
Yeah. And then when I went to go get her, I remember she was like, oh, next time write it on paper. And so we were just driving with her red Nissan with the word Lost on the passenger side.
Your mom sounds so nice. My mom would have not been that nice about it.
Yeah, she understood that it was just like I was doing out of like thoughts, basically.
Yeah.
But she was like, yeah, no, don't ever do that again.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
I don't know if you guys, maybe it's just me, but I think there was the shows that you were allowed to watch, and then there was the shows that you actually watched. And so I think some of the like TV shows I enjoyed, like of course when I was a kid, like Power Rangers or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or things like that. But I also enjoyed like King of the Hill or just some of these like kind of funny animated TV shows. And I think for me, I'm so easily entertained. I didn't have cable TV growing up, so I mostly would watch it when I'd go over to friends or family's houses that did have it. But I think as well, like that 70s show used to be a big favorite of mine. I used to watch that all the time.
Yeah, I was a Disney Channel girl through and through. I watched every series. Like, I know everything about Disney Channel, like the commercials, anything. Like, I was obsessed. And it was good entertainment, like Wizards of Waverly Place, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, Hannah Montana, Good Luck Charlie. I feel like it started to get bad once like Ant Farm came on. I was like, yeah, no, like Disney's going down. And I just feel like nothing has been that good since those TV shows. But even the really early one, like Even Stevens, if you guys remember that.
Yeah, Even Stevens.
Yeah, and there was one, Even Stevens, that wasn't the one where they were like time travelers, right? What was the time?
Phil the Future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Phil the Future was also like so early on, but like I would watch it with my parents because they liked it too. Yeah, Disney Channel was like my thing. Every Disney movie, everything. Some of the shows that you guys mentioned, like The Last Airbender, I never watched that. I don't know why. I thought it was a boy show, and I only have a sister, so I was like, "That's a boy show. Like we're not gonna watch that at my house." I don't know why I thought that. But there are some Nickelodeon shows like iCarly, Victorious. I watched those when I was like a little bit older. But yeah, those shows are still good. Like I'll still turn them on sometimes. They're still very entertaining. I just feel kind of bad for the generation now. Like, I don't know what they watch. 'Cause I don't think Disney Channel has anything good that I know of.
I don't know. Well, it's like Disney Channel. It's like evolved, especially with like Disney Plus now. Like everything's become more of like a streaming platform rather than just like TV itself. Like I remember, like Saturday morning cartoons. That was like the thing. When we were, at least when I was a kid. I'm sure for most of us too. That was the thing. You get up Saturday morning before parents wake up and just binge watching, all the cartoons back to back, whatever.
Yeah. What are some movies that you guys like to watch right now?
As far as movies, can I say what I've most recently watched? The Barbie movie, Oppenheimer. Just I'm trying to think what was before that I watched, but I think that I don't know. It seems like since COVID, there's been like this blur in my head that I don't really know what's coming out until it's out. And so I think I need to do like a better job of paying attention to movie trailers. I do want to see I know it's still fairly recent, the new Mission Impossible movie that's come out because I used to watch all of the Mission Impossible movies. So I was excited about that. And I do know in the future they're coming out with a movie called Marley that kind of talks about the life of Bob Marley. It's more of like a biography type of movie from what I understand, but I'm excited about that one. But those are kind of the most recent movies I've seen. But other than that, I don't really keep up too much on what's coming out. I should do better.
Right. I guess it's kind of the same thing too. I think, ever since COVID happened, it's like the movie industry has changed quite a bit, and people aren't creating as much original content as I hoped, because I remember, growing up as kids, there's always kind of new stuff, especially like Disney stuff. They're a little bit more original. Nowadays, it's just kind of more like copy and paste and just kind of, a pretty basic and not as engaging story. I mean, kind of like Noah, I also watched think the most recent one, at least in theaters, was the Barbie movie.
Nice. The most recent movie I watched in theaters was The Haunted of Venice or something like that. It was really good. I'm too scared to watch like certain things though, so I probably watched like 30 minutes out of it.
So is it an actual scary movie?
It's a thriller. I just can't watch like how some people like die, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I'll cover my eyes and cover my ears. I'm like, nope, I just know something's happening soon.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that was a good movie. Or like the Barbie movie, I really like that one too. But like when I'm at home, I start watching like older movies like Casablanca, or this one's not like old, but it's older for us, like kind of in the 2000s. Like Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Oh, so
or
good.
How to Lose a Guy's in 10 Days.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my jam.
Mm-hmm. I want to talk about the new movies that came out over the summer, Oppenheimer and Barbie. So Noah said he saw both, right?
I did, yeah.
Have you guys seen them?
Just seen the Barbie movie.
Yeah,
Haven't
I've
seen
just seen
Oppenheimer.
Barbie.
Okay. I love the Barbie movie. It's literally my top 5 favorite movies. I've seen it twice, and both times I like bawled my eyes out. I don't know why that movie hits so different than any other movie. And we were talking about how a lot of movies now are just like copy paste, and I've totally felt that over the years. But for the Barbie movie, I was like, there is nothing else like this. Like every aspect of it, like the cinematography, just like how it looked. I was like, there's nothing like this, with like the 2 different worlds and kind of like cartoonish stuff, but also it was like kind of realistic, and like the music was so good and the actors were so good. The storyline, it was like what I got from it was it's just pro being yourself, whether you're a male or a female, doesn't matter. Just like love yourself and who you are. I know a lot of the critics beforehand were saying like, oh, it's bashing on men. I did not see anything where it was bashing on men. I don't know the male's perspective, but to me it was like, no, like Barbie and Ken, they just had to like do their own thing and be their own people, and I thought it was amazing. What do you guys think about it?
I mean, personally, I did like the movie. But there were specific aspects of it that I was like, yeah, I'm not as keen with the message per se. It seemed like, I don't know, maybe this is because of my values per se. And maybe it's just because, as members of the church, we, view things a little bit different. But I thought, it was really good. Yeah, I'm all for, people being able to, do what they, feel that they should, and, empower themselves, for sure. I totally agree with that. But, as far as the men, it seemed like there was a little bit of a divide, between that, as though, hey, men shouldn't be, part of like the male-female equation kind of thing. It should just be kind of our own separate ways, and that's kind of it. So that's at least what I thought of it. So
I think I think what maybe got a lot of people in I guess mixed feels about it was that the Barbie movie, I think, did a really good job of taking the political agenda lots of different ways. And so I don't think there was one, like, at least for me, there wasn't one central main idea that's like this was the takeaway. And so I think that a lot of times it's hard because, individually when you watch a movie, you're like, if the shoe fits, like, okay, like it hits for me or it doesn't hit for some other people. I think one of the things I liked out of it was when the Barbie movie kind of did separate the fact that, Ken does need to figure out who he is. I think that it's not that men don't know who they are or that they are lacking in value in that way, but I think there's a kind of a process of self-discovery that a lot of people haven't taken. And I think that's probably what the Barbie movie was trying to hit at. Not that it necessarily was male or female, but the fact that if your soul worth comes from another person, that's probably not healthy because nobody can make you happy. You have to individually learn how to create happiness within yourself, within the gospel, or within these different avenues. But if you never go down that path of self-discovery, you'll never really truly find out who you are. So I liked it. I would watch it again. I think that I think it was different. And I think that's what, sometimes when things are different, they kind of make us feel a lot of different ways. And I have lots of thoughts on the movie, but I think in general it was well done and it was pretty original too. So
Yeah, I like hearing different people's perspectives on it, because it hit different for me because I grew up playing Barbies, and in the beginning when she like flies down to the car. It's like, yeah, like she didn't walk down her stairs into the car. Like you just moved her where you wanted her to go. Or I thought it was so funny when Ken like broke his arm when he like ran into the waves. And then at the doctor's office, they're like trying to fix him up. And she was like, the Barbie doctor was like, yeah, you should be healed in no time. Actually, in the time it took me to say that sentence, you're healed. And it was like, yeah, because in the Barbie world, in your brain, everything just happens so fast. Actually, kind of a funny story. Me and my friend would always play like marriage. Like our Barbie and Ken would like always get married. And so literally she'd like walk down the aisle and they'd say, I do, and then kiss. And then immediately she would go to the hospital and have her baby. Like that's how it worked in my like 6-year-old brain. Like you get married and immediately you have a baby. Like that's just how it works. So it was super relatable. How about you, Mikayla? What do you think about the movie?
I actually really liked it. It was very relatable in so many ways because, you know, playing with Barbies, playing with Polly Pockets and stuff like that, you know, move them certain ways. You always dress them up in pink, like stuff like that. But I also really liked the aspect of when the mom came in, just because personally, like I grew up with a single mom. So she wasn't single mom, but she felt like she was working all by herself. And so I liked the whole speech that she gave, like, it's okay to do this, but not okay to be this. Well, because that's what my mom felt, and that's how I was feeling at the time. I think that this movie really came out when a lot of people needed it. And I thought it was just overall really good. And I really liked that it's okay to find yourself. It's okay to be lost. And I like how they did do a little like, what's it called? Like a joke on like the depression, anxiety Barbie and stuff like that. That was like a good crack. Like we all loved it in the theater. We were all cracking up. But it also was like, it's okay. Like we'll be there for you still. And that's what I really liked about the Barbie movie. It's just that it was super relatable and what we all needed at the time.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I like that a lot. So moving on to music, what kind of music are you guys listening to right now?
Mostly for me, I listen to a lot of hip hop, R&B, and probably, sad as it is to say for me, pop. But I feel like that my music tastes they always are shifting as far as exactly what artists I'm listening to. But for me, a lot of the R&B I listen to is female R&B, so like Summer Walker, her, Kalani. But I also like a good mix of artists. I think that it's also kind of an interesting time with music as well because there are so many artists and so much new music coming out. It's always hard to keep up. And but I listen to a lot of varieties, but mostly probably hip hop and R&B.
You know, I'd kind of go the same thing. I maybe not as of recently, but I have do listen to like hip hop and rap and stuff like that too. At least 90s and before that, because I don't know. I think nowadays I'm like, this just does not appeal to me. It's just straight up garbage. But yeah, stuff like what do you call it, like Wu-Tang Clan and things like that. I'm totally, which you know, thinking from, you know, somebody like me, that's totally out of character. You know, for, you know, if you know me or don't know me, you just kind of pass by the street, you wouldn't expect me to be listening to that kind of stuff. But recently, and I think it's because you know, I'm working on a senior project related to this. I've been listening to a lot of like Swiss folk music, so like Switzerland, not Sweden. You know, just to make that clear, just to connect a little bit with my heritage, because that's I have a grandma who's Swiss, so you know, I've been trying to just, you know, connect with that heritage and things like that. So get a little bit more into that. So I know my Spotify Wrapped is going to be a little bit interesting by the end of the year. So, so yeah.
I am all over the place as well. I can go from like Kanye West, super controversial on that, but from Kanye to all the way to like Wicked, like the Broadway show. I'm like all over the place, but right now I'm really listening to country. I've been liking a lot. I've been liking like Tim McGraw or like Luke Combs. I actually just got tickets for Luke Combs in June, so I'm really excited for that. But if not, then I don't know. I'm kind of listening to, I'm a hip hop dancer. Like I teach and I also am a part of Extravagance out here. So I listen to a lot of hip hop as well. So yeah, just right now it's kind of all over the place, but mainly country.
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of all over the place, but when I go to my Apple Music, I usually turn on like most of the playlists that I made have more. I don't even know how to describe it anymore. Like I would say indie, but indie's so broad now. Like I feel like in 2015 it was like, oh, indie, and it's like, oh yeah, like people knew what it meant, and now it's just so different. But I guess like more specific is like indie rock. I don't know, like Two Door Cinema Club is a good band, or okay, Always or Always. I don't even know how you pronounce it. Or like Men I Trust. Clairo is my number one. I love that girl. I don't know if you guys have listened to her, but she's so good. But I mean, I also listen to like Taylor Swift because she's just good. And she's so popular right now, so I kind of want to be like in the know. But I also like some R&B stuff. There's this one, Young Gun Silver Fox. I have a song by them on here. That one's really good. But also like folk music, so like Gregory Alan Isakov, people like that. Folky, chill music is always good too. Have you guys been to any concerts recently?
Yeah.
Okay. You're smiling. Who have you been to?
I just went to Luke Bryan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in a couple weeks I'm going to Megan Maroney.
Who's Megan Maroney?
Tennessee Orange.
Is that country?
Yeah,
okay.
It's another country. But before that was Teddy Swims, and he's kind of more on the pop, kind of indie pop,
Okay.
I would say. Yeah, they're all really good.
Cool.
I'm a concert goer.
Yeah.
I go to concerts a lot.
Cool. Yeah, I can't remember the last concert I went to was Gregory Alan Isakov. That's like the folk guy that I was talking about. But Harry Styles, I went to Harry Styles for his first album. So that was like 2018, but I still feel like it was recent. I haven't been able to go to any of his other concerts since then, but I'm a big Harry Styles girl. I love him.
Yeah, the last concert I went to was years ago, and it was Jason Derulo at in Utah. So it was really good, but it's been forever. So I need to go to more concerts. I wish there was more up in this direction.
I know. There's like nothing around here. You always have to go to like down to Salt Lake or maybe Boise. Yeah, whenever I hear the name Jason Derulo, I can only think of like the Jason Derulo that he does in like all of his songs.
And he got you.
Yeah. It's stuck in there.
Well, I guess for me, unfortunately, I've like never been to a concert. I mean, I've been to like classical music concerts, but that doesn't count. Like, yeah, that's lame. if you're really into classical music, you must be like 50 plus, kind of thing. That's my opinion, anyways. But if I were to go to a concert, I'll at least say that much. Well, let's see. It'd probably be like a Wu-Tang Clan concert. I know a friend of mine, he went last year because they had a tour, because they rarely go on tour, like ever. So I was like, wow, like that's awesome. So probably one of those if they ever do that again or something like that. So.
Yeah. I'm going to a concert for the 1975. I don't know if you guys listen to them.
Oh, yeah.
I can't decide if I want to go down to Salt Lake or go to Boise, but yeah, that's happening soon. So I'm really excited about that.
They actually are doing like concerts now here in IF. Like Ludacris was coming.
Wait, what?
Yeah. He was supposed to come last month, but then he changed it to January. But a lot of artists are now coming to Idaho Falls.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's good to know.
Yeah, the Civic Center.
Okay.
So.
Idaho Falls, a new up and coming place, I
I'm
guess.
so excited. Or Pocatello.
Yeah.
Isn't there's a pretty famous Idaho native, you may know who I'm talking about, but he got featured because he did that one TikTok on ocean spray. He was riding a longboard.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah,
yes.
that guy.
And he lives in Idaho Falls.
I heard that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I heard that was filmed in Idaho Falls. That TikTok.
Dogface, I think is his name. I
don't
could
know
be
his
getting that
name.
wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's Dogface, and there's a group called the Idaho Natives that he was a part of or something like that, and they're all in Idaho Falls. So
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
We're just
who
next
knows?
to all these celebrities.
We just don't even know it. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, if you look up Dogface, you should be able to find. I think he has a video with Snoop Dogg or somebody, but yeah.
Very fun. I have to keep an eye out for him next time I'm in Idaho Falls. So music is a good thing, throw it on, walk around, do your homework, whatever. We're always listening to music. But do you guys ever listen to podcasts? And if you do, which podcasts are you listening to?
I mean, I guess I'll start us. I've been getting more into podcasts recently. Before I was like never a podcast person. I was like, this is dumb, this is whatever. And lo and behold, I'm on a podcast now. I think recently I've been trying to get into like kind of like more real crime podcasts and things like that. I haven't like listened to any as of recent. I'm just trying to slowly get myself into it. So I'm trying to think of any specific ones that I can't think off the top of my head. But also, sometimes I do it like language learning because I love to learn languages. And so one of them I'm doing like a Swiss German podcast because obviously back to that heritage thing, just a little plug-in. Switzerland's awesome. So I've been trying to learn a little bit with that, picking up on some of the cultural mannerisms with that. So
I think it's been a new avenue for me as well. I'm listening to it's like a book / audio podcast. It's called Can't Hurt Me. It's by David Goggins, and he's like a ex-Navy SEAL. Talks about a lot of his growing up and experiences, and it's been really interesting to kind of listen to an audio book that also kind of dives in as to why he wrote the book the way he did, or kind of expounds more onto it. So I think it's been really nice because I feel like there's a lot of books that maybe I wouldn't have picked up and got all the way through it, but because I had the audio version, I got through it, and I feel like I got the main message out of it. So I think it's been really nice to have more of that kind of just like media in my life, because I think I really love like self-help books, and that's kind of what kind of books I like to read. I don't like to read super long books. I'm not really into fantasy or like sci-fi or anything like that. So it seems like audiobooks typically are kind of in that same fashion a lot of times, or a lot of them are kind of self-help or how you learn a new skill or think in a different way. So I've been getting more into that, but I also would agree with Jesse. I think some of like the true crime podcasts or Crime Junkie podcasts can be really fun to just kind of listen and, I guess scare yourself to sleep. But I think podcasts have definitely become more in my media than I would have thought they ever would have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I listen to a few different ones. I feel like I mainly listen to the ones from NPR because I like the style and I like that they're informative, but they're also interesting. So like Throughline, or they have like news ones that just kind of like are like a recap of the news to start your day. So like Up First or Consider This are really good. This American Life is also a really good podcast. That one's really interesting. And then more for like fun entertainment. I don't listen to too many, but I have listened to Kelsey Kreppel. If you know Codyco, he's like a YouTuber.
Yeah.
It's his wife, Kelsey Kreppel. She has a podcast called Circle Time. And it's just like a kind of a little podcast for the girlies. Like she just talks about things related to like being a girl and like relationship advice and all of that. So it's pretty interesting and I like her. I've watched her YouTube videos for a long time. So it's fun when people that you're already following start podcasts because it's like, oh yay, like more content from them. It's fun to listen to.
Yeah, I definitely listen to like, I don't know what they call their podcast anymore. I completely forgot right now, but Jess and Gabriel, they're like a Christian
Oh, they had like a YouTube channel.
Yeah,
she's from Australia. Yeah.
So they have a new podcast. They just came out with it, and it's super good. And I love how clean it is and everything. And then I also listened to another podcast that's called Date Me Instead. I think that was something that I really needed and randomly found it one day, and I was like, this is it. Like, this is what I need at the time. And so it really connects you just to be yourself and what you can do on your own, which is something really cool. But like entertainment-wise, I listen to a lot of Australian, which can be good, can be bad. Like, so it's
what does that mean, Australian?
Like Australian podcasts. Like they're from Australia. Like one of them's name's Tony and Ryan. Like I saw them on TikTok and they're just so funny. I actually like scream in my car sometimes because they're just so funny. And I mean, they have good episodes. Sometimes they're a little bit rocky, but overall, I think that it's a good podcast and it's good for entertainment when you just need a laugh. Mm-hmm. So that's what I kind of listen to.
Super cool. Well, I've loved talking about movie, music, podcasts, all the mediums of media. That was a good alliteration there. But now Jesse has a trivia game for us. So we're going to play our trivia music and then get into the game. All right, Jesse, you can lead us in our game today.
All right. So this game, I was trying to, combine a little bit of music and movie, although it didn't seem to quite work out well when I was doing my research. So I'm probably going to stick primarily with movies here for this trivia game. And so I just kind of pulled up a random list of different questions. I'll kind of cycle through and see which ones y'all. And of course, I mean, obviously I probably won't be answering because I know have the answers in front of me. So I'll just go off with it. So we'll start off with an somewhat easier one here. So question number 1. What is the name of the fictional boy band in Pixar's Turning Red?
I've never seen Turning Red.
Me neither.
No.
Oh, shoot.
We all failed.
The answer is Four Town.
No.
Four Town.
Of course, I've actually seen the movie. But of course, my wife's a big kids movie fan, so maybe that's why I should have chosen the easier Disney question. Sorry, my bad, folks. My bad.
Let's see if we know the next one.
Let's see the next one. What breakfast item did Donkey say he was going to make in Shrek?
Waffles.
Is that right?
That is correct. Yep.
1 point for Mikayla.
All right, I'll do 2 more here. I'll do a little bit of a harder one. So, I mean, even I didn't know this one, to be honest. So it kind of surprised me a little bit. What is the highest grossing film of all time? And taking the fact that inflation, has occurred here. So,
Of all time?
mm-hmm.
I don't know why Top Gun came into my head. That's just a random movie that came to my head, but
It's a good one.
I'm gonna go with Top Gun.
Anybody else?
I feel like it's a fairly recent movie-ish.
I feel like it's Endgame. Like we're Infinity War.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
some
that's true.
Marvel
Those
Yeah.
are
type
huge.
of thing.
Mm.
Can you give us a hint?
Think older.
Older.
Was it? I don't know. Was it Avatar? No.
Oh, Avatar.
Go with
Oh.
Avatar.
Should we all agree on Avatar?
I don't
Think
know.
so.
I know it made a lot, but I don't know how much.
Yeah. So actually, here we go. So y'all answers was Avatar, right?
Yeah.
So actually, the movie with the highest growth rates is Gone with the Wind.
Gone with the Wind?
Really?
Yeah, like
Highest-
surprisingly, with inflation.
Isn't that from like the 1930s?
Yeah, that was about the 1930s. So at least with adjusted with inflation, it currently it grows for about $1.85 billion.
Oh.
$billion dollars. And of course, back in the day, it was a little bit different, but comparably, it was about that much. Still, it still is pretty. At least what my sources say here. So, yeah.
Well, we failed big time. I love pressing those buttons.
I would just go to ham with all those buttons. Here's maybe a more fun one. This one's also a little bit tricky though, but we'll see if we can get it. So, what flavor of Pop-Tarts does Buddy the Elf use in his spaghetti and Elf?
Strawberry?
I feel like they were brown, like the cinnamon.
Oh, like the maple syrup
Yeah.
cinnamon ones?
Oh, no.
Cherry.
Wait, we all have to agree on an answer.
Okay.
Oh, no.
I don't know.
I don't know.
You think they were brown?
Think.
Okay, I
And
don't
could
remember
be
the
wrong.
color.
They probably was like mixing with the chocolate syrup that he put on it. I don't know.
Well,
Let's go with. I guess we can all have
Wait.
different answers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Corn. I'm just gonna. I don't even think that's flavor. Actually,
wait, what flavor?
I was thinking corn.
Oh, corn flavor.
Corn Pop Tarts?
I don't even know.
I've never heard of that.
I was thinking corn syrup. Corn syrup.
Oh.
I don't know why
Okay.
instead of maple.
Oh, maybe you're thinking like corn pops.
Okay,
the
so we
cereal
have
there.
we have corn Pop Tart, we have strawberry, and we have the maple syrup cinnamon one.
Ooh, let's see. Well, the answer is chocolate.
What?
Oh.
That would make
So
sense.
she would-
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, so
Michaela's was
Michaela's the
close.
closest. Michaela's killing it today. She has all the answers.
I know.
Maybe buff
All
over
right.
here.
And All right, we'll do one last question here,
Okay.
just to wrap it up. Let's see. Ooh, what is the first line? And actually, I know this personally, so this isn't even off the list. I'm just going off my head here, so bear with me. What is the first line said in the classic movie Citizen Kane?
I've never seen
I've
Citizen
never
Kane.
seen that.
Okay, maybe I'm just one of those weird people that really knows these really odd things.
Noah, do you know?
I know the movie, but I don't.
Yeah, it's a black and white film.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Film noir.
What's the line?
Okay, well, yeah, since none of y'all know it, it's Rosebud.
Rosebud?
But
All right. Well, I guess when we can all watch Citizen
Yeah.
Kane sometime, and then we'll understand the lore.
Yeah, once you watch it, you can never unhear it. It's like, it's an iconic first line. It's like, what?
Well, maybe we'll know someday. All right, everyone. Thanks for coming on the podcast. It was so fun to know more about your thoughts and about movies and what you guys are listening to. So, yeah, thanks for being on the podcast today. You've been listening to The Spot, a production of BYU-Idaho Radio. Today's hosts were me, Celeste Simmons,
Noah Timpson.
Jesse Pruitt.
and special guest.
Mikayla Burnett.
The views and opinions of this podcast are not that of BYU-Idaho Radio or the university and are solely the opinions of the host. This episode was edited by me, Celeste Simmons. Producers were the hosts with supervision by Brandon Isle. Our theme music is Finding Happiness by DJ Quads and The Perpetual Ticking of Time by Artificial Music. To listen to more episodes of The Spot, like and follow us on social media or visit our website, byui.edu/radio, and click podcasts. Be sure to subscribe to the BYU-Idaho Radio podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, or wherever you get your podcasts. And also leave a review of the show and leave a comment on what we should talk about next.